Okay, look, let's just dive right into this. You have these massive, incredible dreams. You can clearly visualize the success, right? The lifestyle you want, the big projects you're finally going to finish. It feels so real in your head. But the literal second it's time to actually sit down and do the hard work, you freeze. You completely put it off. You tell yourself, you know what, I'm definitely going to do it tomorrow. Does that sound familiar? Well, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving deep into the source material to uncover the wildly surprising psychology behind why we get so stuck in this exact loop.
So, are you ambitious but lazy? I know, it's a brutal question, but the material reveals a really crucial point here. You are absolutely not alone in this, and you definitely do not lack talent or intelligence. What's actually happening is that we get caught in this psychological pattern. We're full of these incredible ideas, but we're completely stuck in place, just endlessly waiting for that magical tomorrow that, let's be honest, never really seems to arrive.
And this builds into an incredibly painful daily cycle. We've all been there. We start in the morning, waking up with the absolute best intentions. We tell ourselves, today is the day. But then, noon rolls around, we hit a wall of internal friction, grab the phone, and start scrolling for what we think is just going to be a super quick dopamine hit. Maybe just a quick video of someone power washing a driveway. And suddenly, poof, 3 hours are just gone. And that brings us to the night, lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, feeling intensely guilty and just so disappointed in ourselves. This cycle doesn't just steal a few hours of our day. More tragically, it literally steals our long-term happiness.
So why on earth do we do this to ourselves? Well, that brings us to Section 1, your brain in survival mode.
It turns out this agonizing cycle isn't a moral failing at all. It is a biological battle. Your brain, historically speaking, is perfectly designed to avoid pain and seek pleasure. That's just basic, hardwired human psychology. When you think about sitting down to work on your massive, complex goals, your brain sees the effort, the uncertainty, the potential failure, and it perceives those things as literal, physical threats. So what does it do? It triggers survival mode. It immediately pushes you toward the easy option, like scrolling on a screen, because that delivers a safe, immediate hit of dopamine. Your brain literally thinks it is protecting you from danger.
This is not laziness, this is survival mode. But listen, there is a massive hidden danger here. While your brain genuinely thinks it's keeping you safe from short-term pain, it's actually teaching itself that your dreams just don't matter. Every single time we choose comfort over taking action, we're building a stronger and stronger habit of avoidance.
And that brings us perfectly to our next major roadblock, Section 2, the perfectionism trap.
So, if survival mode is the biological excuse, perfectionism is the intellectual excuse. The idea that perfectionism is fear disguised as excellence is such a powerful reframe. I mean, we probably walk around thinking we just have these incredibly high standards, right? But really, perfectionism is just the brain providing a highly sophisticated excuse to never even begin. Because think about it, if you never start, you can never fail. It protects us from that terrifying possibility that our ideas might not actually be as brilliant as we imagine them to be. And surprisingly enough, the research shows that perfectionism actually correlates with severe procrastination, not high output.
It really all comes down to a choice between inaction and failure. Now, inaction feels incredibly safe. We get to stay inside our comfortable little fantasies, but we learn absolutely nothing. Failure, on the other hand, that means you actually tried. You learned something tangible. You built real, actual momentum. Always remember this. Every single highly successful person you admire has failed more times than you have even tried. Failure is not the opposite of success. Inaction is.
Okay, let's pivot and talk about the solution. Section 3, structure over motivation.
The research is brutally honest here. Waiting around to wake up bursting with energy and excitement to do hard things is a complete myth. Motivation is just a feeling, and feelings come and go with the weather or your sleep schedule or whatever your stress levels are that day. You simply cannot build a life on a temporary feeling. To build a life, you need discipline, which is built consistently, just one tiny, boring decision at a time. The real trick is taking action even when you don't feel like it. Why? Because pushing through that initially terrible, uncomfortable feeling of resistance actually rewires your brain. It literally teaches your nervous system that discomfort is not inherently dangerous.
But look, discipline doesn't just magically happen by sheer mental force. We need Section 4, the power of environment. It turns out that your physical environment is controlling your actions way more than your conscious mind is. It's not a willpower problem, it's a design problem. Turn off your notifications. Put your phone in a completely different room. Clean off your desk. Set a sacred, non-negotiable time for focused work. You have to make distraction fundamentally harder to access than focus.
The massive secret about high achievers isn't that they have some superhuman level of willpower. They just create environments and systems where the default action is the productive action. Every single distraction you remove saves precious mental energy that you can redirect toward your actual goals.
All right, we are in the home stretch here. Section 5, taking imperfect action.
And here is a really hard truth for us. We need to stop consuming quite so much productivity content. And yes, that includes explainers exactly like this one. Consuming endless content tricks your brain into feeling like passive learning is the exact same thing as actually doing the work. I promise you, it absolutely is not. To break out of this paralysis, you've got to try this bite-sized method. Step 1, pick one small thing. Step 2, work for just 15 minutes or write just one single paragraph. Step 3, repeat it tomorrow. That is the whole shebang. Your first attempts, they're going to be terrible rough drafts, and that is perfectly okay. Quality literally does not matter right now. Consistency is what builds habits, and habits are what build a life.
Now, as we start this messy process, we are inevitably going to have bad days. We're going to slip up and fall back into old patterns. But please remember, guilt does not motivate you. Shame does not make you better. Beating ourselves up while lying in bed only fuels the cycle of avoidance. Self-compassion is a vital tool here. Forgiving yourself isn't about, letting yourself off the hook. It's about dropping the incredibly heavy, exhausting baggage of yesterday so that you actually have the energy to get back on track today.
Before we wrap up today, there is one last powerful reframe I want you to consider. Lazy is what you have been doing. It is not who you are. We are all people with immense potential, with these massive dreams, who simply got stuck in a psychological pattern of avoiding discomfort. But patterns are just learned behaviors, and any learned behavior can absolutely be unlearned and changed.
So stop planning. Stop waiting around for the perfect wave of motivation to strike. Stop researching how to begin. I want you to close this explainer right now and go do one single small thing. Because if you don't take just 15 minutes to prove to your brain that you are serious today, well, what makes you think tomorrow will be any different? I'll leave you to it. You've got this.